We're here for our annual Extreme Performance Summer Tire Test. We just completed the road course portion of this testing, and now it's time for testing here at Tire Rack HQ. And you know what that means: dry laps, wet laps, and road rides. And we know that some of you might just be here for the dry track test results, but we're gonna make you wait, or just skip ahead. But be sure you come back because there's a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah, because Extreme Performance Summer Tires aren't just all about dry lap times. Sometimes it rains on race day. And making the right tire choice in those circumstances could mean the difference between finding the podium and finding the wall. And let's not forget, these are real street tires. A lot of people daily drive these when it's warm out. And we're gonna find out what it's like to live with these tires day in and day out. So that's where our testing begins. The first tire in the test is the BF Goodrich G-Force Rival Plus. This is a brand new iteration on a storied name. It utilizes the well-known Rival tread pattern with a new endurance-focused compound for satisfying driving dynamics and fast, consistent laps. On the road, it felt very much like an Extreme Performance summer tire from the past, with significant varied tones that created a cacophony of high-volume tread noise over every surface. The stiff ride revealed every imperfection in the surface, though it did a respectable job limiting the disturbance from cracks and small bumps to a single event. The steering was fast and immediately responsive with almost no dead zone or ramp up to the response, which made it feel alert and a little darty. The G-Force Rival S1.5 utilizes a sprint compound that's designed to turn on quickly for fast laps right out of the gate, and its internal construction is engineered for quick responsive steering. In our on-road testing, it was almost imperceptible from its brandmate. The most notable difference was in the steering, which surprisingly didn't feel quite as responsive. The small amount of dead zone on center made for a slightly more relaxed experience, especially at highway speeds. The Bridgestone Potenza RE71RS is arguably the biggest name in the category. It's good at autocross or road course use, and it's always a favorite among consumers and our test team. When we drove it on the road ride route, we found it was very stiff and loud, though it didn't create quite as much tonal variety as some other tires in the test. The steering was some of the best in the category, quick and direct with a natural feeling buildup of response to input. The Falcon Azenis RT660 Plus is an updated tire that makes significant changes to a category favorite. It features revised construction to help better manage the contact patch during dynamic use. Combined with tighter manufacturing tolerances, it seeks to improve both lap times and wear. On the road, the steering was quick and light, requiring very little effort to elicit a response from the front axle. The tread interaction on coarse surfaces was medium to high volume, and on smooth or sealed surfaces, it created a sizzle like driving on a thin layer of water. The ride was stiff and controlled with notable impact noise.
The Nankang Sportneck CRS has proven itself to be a strong competitor for track or autocross use, and it impressed our team in our previous Extreme Performance Summer Tire Test, so we brought it back to see how it fares against the newest in the category. On the road, it surprisingly didn't feel that different from less focused performance tires. While the ride was definitely firm, it was well damped and never harsh or coarse. Noise was medium volume and not particularly distinct, and the steering was ultra quick but also never nervous or overly eager. Another new entry is the Vitur Tempesta P1. It hasn't been officially tested by our team, but it has developed quite a reputation on the internet. We're excited to cut through the clutter and see what it's really capable of. For the category, it was genuinely impressive on the road, earning the highest overall score, and more importantly for an Extreme Performance summer tire, the highest score for steering and on-road handling. The steering wheel pointed the nose of the car with authority, and instead of just being digitally immediate, it had very fast but progressive response. The ride was as firm as anything in the test, yet still composed, and pattern noise was high volume on coarse surfaces, yet remarkably subdued on smooth pavement. The Yokohama Advan A052 needs no introduction. It was the top-rated tire in our last Extreme Performance summer test, and it's this year's final benchmark tire. Just like last year, it delivered surprising refinement on the road. The ride was composed and controlled, and not as stiff as one might expect from the category. Tread noise was slightly elevated, with some cyclical tones on smooth surfaces and moderate growl on anything coarse. The steering was light and fast, and not quite as progressive as the best in the test.
In our wet braking and skid pad testing, the Potenza RE71RS led both metrics by a significant amount, coming to a stop almost 9 feet shorter than its next closest competitor and generating 0.03 of a G more in lateral traction. The Rival Plus stopped in 164.5 feet and tied for third with its BF Goodrich counterpart on the skid pad. The Rival S1.5, Azenis RT660 Plus, and Advan A052 all stopped in the low 170s and were upper to mid-pack on the skid pad. Toward the back of the group, the Tempesta P1 stopped at 178 feet, and the Sportneck CRS was capable of a modest 0.69 Gs laterally and came to a stop at 181 feet, a little over 25 feet longer than the best in the test. Fast laps often require more than just strong traction, and in terms of objective lap time, the Potenza RE71RS and Advan A052 distinguished themselves from the group, with lap times that were nearly a second faster than the third-place G-Force Rival Plus.
Bridgestone Potenza RE71RS.
What a step up on some of the other tires in this test.
it is.
It just feels like you're driving again, instead of just managing massive amounts of slip and just crazy, grip slip stuff. It just progressively lets go. It's quick. It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
The Yokohama Advan A052. It's a lot of oversteer and kind of drifting until it kind of recovers on itself. It wasn't that bad subjectively for me, but it's just like a lot of these little quick blips of hydroplane, which was kind of annoying.
Yep, it's just something that you always had to be aware of because it interrupts your actually very good pace.
Yeah.
Because again, it's fast, it's strong, it's good. Tell the hydroplanes. We have Goodrich G-Force Rival Plus, and Brent, what do you think about this here tire?
A little hard to maximize.
We're being hyperbolic right now. The steering is nice. It's pointy. It has good heft. The problem is there is such a fine line between grip and slip. You can't overwhelm it. You can't ask too much.
Another perceptible step back found the Azenis RT660 Plus and G-Force Rival S 1.5 in a virtual tie and 2/10 ahead of the Tempesta P1. Falcon Azenis RT660 Plus.
Yep, it wasn't super great objectively. It was fun though. Lots of little corrections, lots of motion.
I like fixing mistakes.
You can make it get sideways if you want it to. The front is very pointy, and I think that kind of led to it overpowering and whipping around the rear. And we have Goodrich G-Force Rival S 1.5. Everything that we said about the Rival Plus, the Rival S 1.5 is that, only more extreme because it has less traction. It is more edgy. You have to be more careful with it. You have to be more delicate with your inputs.
I mean, it's not bad, but man, it's not great.
There's worse.
The Tour Tempesta P1. Yes. It spins it up. It pushes hard. It takes a long time to recover.
It does. That was probably the most frustrating thing for me during the actual time lapse was just the recovery time on this tire.
And it's got that mega fast steering.
Right? So sharp.
It's not helping me out.
Can't do anything with it.
The Sportneck CRS was at the back of the pack and required an additional 2 seconds per lap compared to the Bridgestone. The Nankang Sportneck CRS out here in the wet. It's low grip. It doesn't quite have the recovery that some of the other tires has. You're just kind of easing your way through. You're going from understeer to understeer to oversteer. Yeah, it just kind of pops over quickly, which makes wet laps kind of a handful.
Yeah, that's something.
As is often the case within the same performance category, our dry objective results were incredibly tight, with less than 2 feet between the test leading Bridgestone and Tour at 94.2 feet and the fifth shortest Yokohama, which required 95.9 feet to come to a stop from 60 miles an hour. The two BF Goodrich tires were slightly further back, but still very respectable, at 97.8 feet for the G-Force Rival Plus and 100.7 feet for the G-Force Rival S 1.5. Lateral traction on the skid pad followed the same pattern. The Vitour, Nankang, and Falcon generated 1.04 Gs of lateral traction. The Yokohama and Bridgestone were capable of 1.03, and the BF Goodrich twins saw 1.02 and 1.01 Gs. Less than 0.3 of a second separated the entire group in the all-important dry lap times. But on the track, every tenth matters, and the brand new Tempesta P1 led the test with fast, consistent laps.
Steering is super fast.
It has enough of a buildup to make it feel like a real tire, a more analog tire.
It's got the grip.
You can put the power down more fully, more completely sooner in this tire than any other tire on the test. It's not enormously different, but it's enough that it gives it that advantage that you can just get back to throttle and go.
The Sportneck CRS and Advan A052 were tied just 1/10 of a second behind.
Sportneck CRS, it's not really like pinpoint accurate, just direct, and does what you want. There's a little bit of an inconsistency between your inputs and what the tire actually does. It's still fast, it's still strong.
Great grip.
Yokohama Advan A052. It's quick, it gets you there, but you're not gonna, run over the dime at the apex every time. You're gonna get pretty close to where you want your car to be, and you're gonna get there with the speed. But yeah, it's not a precision instrument by any means. That being said, it has huge traction. It's quick fast. As long as you don't get it way over your head, it recovers from little mistakes. It's good.
Less than 1/10 of a second back from there, the Potenza RE71 RS, a Zenus RT660 Plus, and GeForce Rival Plus were closely grouped, and the GeForce Rival S 1.5 was a close 7th out of 7.
Rich Del Potenza RE71 RS.
Some of the tires in this test, they're all extreme performance summer tires, but the lower grip EP tires, I feel like I have to be a little bit delicate with it because you don't want to put too much energy into them. It might start swinging around hither and yon. This tire though, you just jam it in there and just go. Very balanced, easy to drive, pointy on the front end. It's just good all around. The Falcon Zenus RT660 Plus, I had a lot of good things to say about it. I like the steering. It's very sharp and direct. I liked it that the rear end would move around kind of at will as much as you wanted to, or as little as you wanted it to. It needs a bit more outright grip to be, top in the category. But the driving dynamics are just so satisfying.
Its balance is some of the best out here. You're right, because it will accept almost any driving style. BF Goodrich GeForce Rival Plus.
I like the steering. It's hefty. It points the front end very nicely. I just want a little bit more traction. It's strong. It's just not up there with the best of the category.
BF Goodrich.
The Rival S 1.5.
Very similar subjective feel out here on our track. It does have better kind of high energy grip in the lower speed kind of apex.
It feels a bit more under you at all times. Not a monumental difference between the two. The Extreme Performance Summer category is incredibly competitive, with short product cycles and seemingly constant updates. But the top tires in the space have been there for a long time.
Yeah, but time keeps marching on, and new tires keep getting better and better. This time around, we didn't have a clearly dominant leader. And once we averaged up all the scores, a couple of those favorites were sharing the podium with the category newcomer. Extreme Performance Summer tires aren't expected to deliver premium levels of refinement on the road, but the best in this test weren't that far off from less performance-focused tires. The Tempesta P1, Sportnext CRS, and Advan A052 led the test on the road thanks to reasonable ride and noise characteristics combined with impressive steering. Rain doesn't cancel race day, and in the wet, the Potenza RE71 RS earned the highest score from our team by a comfortable margin, followed by the Advan A052 and a tie between the GeForce Rival Plus and a Zenus RT660 Plus.
Dry traction and handling are the primary selling points for extreme performance summer tires, but their subjective characteristics on the track shouldn't be overlooked. And here, the Potenza RE71 RS and Tempesta P1 led the group, followed very closely by the Advan A052. When we put it all together, the Potenza RE71 RS and Advan A052 were tightly grouped in the top 2 spots, thanks to their balanced, high-level performance. The Tempesta P1 was brought down slightly by a lack of wet traction, but managed to hang on to the 3rd step of the podium.
We hope you found this video helpful for finding the right extreme performance summer tire for what, where, and how you drive.
Yep, if you have any questions or other feedback, be sure to leave those in the comments below. We try to read and respond to as many of those as we can. And of course, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.